What's up guys, Skittlerampage here. So today we're going to be talking about the recent Funko Shop releases and if they were good or bad. Let's talk about it. Okay guys, so like I said before, we're going to be talking about the recent Funko Shop releases. So the Funko Shop has been super dead since SDCC. So I was actually quite surprised about this because normally they release at least one new thing a week, or they used to release like 2 to 3 things a week. And then they lowered it to like 1 thing a week, but it was actually really surprising. I don't really remember how they kind of did it in the last few years, but anyways, it's been super quiet pretty much on the Funko Shop, super dead, and I was actually rather surprised when they go, hey, we got 7 new pops for you, we're going to release them all at once for Funkoween. And all I'm thinking over here is, Halloween in August? Why not just wait another 2 months and release it in October? What are you going to release for October now? Like, you already did Funkoween in August, so it was kind of interesting that they decided to do this. Now, some of these pops look really, really good, I will say, and I was rather surprised at certain ones. So, the big thing with this is that personally, to me, it felt like it was like a mini-con release. Like, basically like a test before New York Comic Con rolls around, because we all know how SDCC went. Awful. Awful. Not for everybody, but I would say for about 90% of the people trying to get something. There was heavy traffic, shipping queues were going crazy, people trying to get in line, people getting stuck at the CAPTCHA, everything like that. It was nuts. Okay, it was nuts. If you guys don't know what's going on with SDCC, you guys can watch my old videos and things like that. So, and I would say this is kind of like a different type of video for me, because normally I'm making videos about how awful certain releases go and things like that. But now I'm making a video because I think this one actually went really, really well, personally. Now, of course, it had its ups and downs, and I would say a good 80% of the people were able to get something this time around versus 20% not being able to get something. And you basically got to look at it as you win some, you lose some. And personally, to me, I've always looked at it that way, but I still get upset when I miss out on something, obviously, because I missed out on something. You know, I wanted that item, and I missed out on it, you know? So, and I had to buy certain ones from other people because I couldn't get it on the Funko Shop, I couldn't get it on the website, or in store. Like, I couldn't get, for SDCC, it was awful. I couldn't get, I struck out on all 3, so it was crazy. But anyways, with this release, this was actually really interesting because they released all 7 new pops all at once, and like I said, for the most part, it went really well. And I don't feel like people are really talking about how well this went and what this could mean for New York Comic Con coming soon in October. So I'm super, super excited for this because I want the site to run really well, obviously, come New York Comic Con time. But basically, the new pops that released, guys, was Frank and Freddy holding a phone. We got Magneto as a zombie. We got Zero in like an art form with a pop stack. And then we also have Bone Jangles from Corpse Bride with a Glow Chase variant, which actually looks really good. And it's selling for hundreds of dollars already. Then we also have Edward Scissorhands and the Inventor. So it was kind of crazy, like I said. The fact that they released 7 pops all at once, then we got a Funkoween in August. It was just a random kind of like out of nowhere release. And like I said before, it went really well. The shipping queue, like basically, I was able to get everything that I want. Well, I got 3 things. I tried to go back and get like some other things, but I wasn't able to the second time around. I got like stuck in the queue again. But for the most part, this time around, I did check out within 2 to 3 minutes, almost maybe 2 to 4 minutes, but it was kind of crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I really wasn't. And guys, when I say I wasn't expecting that at all, I've struck out a billion times on the Funko Shop. I rarely have ever gotten the releases if it's something I've actually really want or something I'm actually really interested in. So the ones I got, I found them interesting and I wanted to review them. So if you guys ended up picking anything up from the Funko Shop, let me know down below too. I'd love to know, or if you guys struck out. But obviously it was just kind of crazy with this time around because there were still some problems, but for the most part, the site seemed to have handled all the traffic going on. So basically, the good things about this was that it was a little mini contest, to me at least, or a good example of what might happen at New York Comic Con, and it went really well. Everything took about 15 minutes to sell out, I will say, or it could have sold out slightly sooner, but at 2:15, that's when I saw these Instagram and news pages and things like that saying, hey, everything's sold out except for the Inventor and Edward Scissorhands. So everything desirable really sold out fast. One thing that sold out really, really fast that I was not expecting was the new Zero pop from Nightmare Before Christmas. I was not expecting that to sell out at its $25 price point, but it did. It sold out like crazy. So that was actually rather surprising. Another thing that I found interesting, and I think these people were the ones that like resell and they're resellers and things like that, is the fact that some people thought it was too easy to get through the Funko Shop, and they basically said they didn't want any of the items anymore. They decided against it, and I found that really interesting because I guess they thought it was so easy that they thought everything wouldn't sell out, even though everything did sell out. So that was actually really interesting to me to see like maybe like more like 5 to 10 comments about that. So that was super interesting. Now, obviously, guys, like I said before, not everybody was able to get something this time around, but a majority was, which was really great. And that's why I'm making this video, because I thought it was interesting how well this release went, because I was expecting it to be crazy like SDCC. Now, some of the things that stopped people in their track was the fact that Amazon Pay and Apple Pay, that wasn't working for a lot of people. Now, I used my debit card, and I also have Google autofill for my address and everything like that. So it's super easy at checkout, and it takes me like a minute max to check out sometimes. Now, this shipping queue did kind of stop people a little bit in their tracks. It stopped me for all of like, I want to say a max of 12 seconds, like 12, 15. It was super fast compared to SDCC, when the shipping queue, the little loading icon to load the shipping rates, stop people for like 2 to 3 hours. Like that's the max I've seen, was like 2 to 3 hours, which was freaking nuts. Okay, 2 to 3 hours compared to 12 seconds. I feel like I got over on that. So that was really interesting. I gave up on SDCC, by the way. I explained this in my other videos, but after 20 minutes of waiting, I was like, this is dumb. I'm not gonna wait for 2 to 3 hours for this to load up. Maybe I might have gotten something, but it just wasn't worth my time, in my opinion, because I had other opportunities to be able to get it online at the shared retailers or in store, even though I struck out on those as well. But some other things that ended up stopping people was like a survey pop-up that Funko has now on their website. I guess if you're randomly shopping, they're like, hey, you want to do a survey for 25 bucks? There's up to like 10 winners a day. And I was like, so that kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit. And then I know it stopped a lot of people as well, because it kind of just throws you off, because you're like in the moment, you're typing in your address and your debit card information or Amazon Pay and things like that. And then bam, survey, Funko, stop you. I'm like, no, and then you panic and things like that. It just kind of freaks you out because you want to get this release. So like I said, as far as the shipping queues and things like that, that didn't really seem to be a big deal. It loaded super fast, but it was mainly like that pop-up. The CAPTCHA, I think, slowed some people down. It slowed me down a little bit because it was like, oh, click all the traffic cones. And I swear I clicked all the traffic cones, and then it's like, oh, keep clicking all the traffic cones. And it took me like 3 different pages. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss out on everything because of these freaking traffic cones. It's stopping me. Traffic cones are designed to stop people, and it's stopping me. It's doing its job. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, as far the main things was Amazon Pay and Apple Pay. You have the pop-ups and things like that, and then the CAPTCHA. That was pretty much it. The shipping queue wasn't really a problem this time around, personally to me. And then a lot of the other, comments and experiences that I've seen were mostly good. Another thing was that I guess to combat bots was they put up a maintenance mode right before the release, and it said that you had to get a password in to get into the website. So I think that was to combat bots potentially waiting on the site, and then making everyone think that there would be a password to get in the site. But that also threw off a lot of consumers and collectors, because they were kind of like, okay, what do I do? What's the password? Is Funko going to send me the password in the email, like via email? So that was actually really interesting. It's a really good way to combat bots, because it kind of stops them in their tracks. I don't really know much about bots, so I don't know if it really does, but it seems like a good idea. But it also confused a lot of people, and they had to refresh the page, and then it would let you in. So it was very, very interesting how they did this release. But for the most part, it went super well for me this time around. I was super unlucky on SDCC, so I'm kind of glad that I was able to get something this time. And I know a lot of people were unlucky on SDCC, and I'm sure a lot of people that were unlucky on SDCC were able to get this time around. So it seems like, for the most part, Funko did something that fixed their website to an extent, because obviously some people were still stuck at certain points, and obviously, for the most part, yes, the site's still going to need some work. Obviously, every site needs work, but I feel like they did a really good job, and I got to give my props to Funko. I don't feel like most people are, so I'm giving my props to Funko, because I feel like you guys did a really good job this time around. Now, will I say that you should probably just go back to your other website before SDCC? Yes, go back to your other website, because if it ain't broken, don't fix it. You shouldn't have changed it. I know you're trying to modernize everything and go with the flow and go with the times, but don't change it. It was working. Everything was working. And then you messed it up for SDCC. But you fixed it now for the most part. So hopefully they can stick with this kind of situation and coming up to New York Comic Con, and I think it might work. Still needs some work, obviously. I don't think there should be a survey pop-up until after you check out, because that's just super obnoxious. It's not that big of a deal because it's just a click of an X, but it does kind of just throw you off in the moment. And as far as the CAPTCHA, I feel like the captcha is kind of broken a little bit too as well. And then the shipping or the payment methods is what I'm trying to say. The payment methods is just kind of like, why is there even an issue with that? Like Amazon and Apple mainly. I didn't hear anybody saying they had a problem with like their debit cards or anything like that. But if you guys had any other problems that I didn't list, make sure to list them down below, just so everybody knows like what's going on or what to expect for future releases and things like that. But for the most part, I think it went really, really well. And I'm not just making this video because it went well for me. I just feel like nobody's talking about how well this went and what this means for New York Comic Con, because that's the next biggest release that everybody's excited for, but also everybody's dreading because of the Funko's current situation. So I think a lot of it has to do with, as well as they had high stock counts for all of these, and then SDCC had really low stock counts for everything, even in the shared retailers, online, and in stores as well, is what I was trying to say. So it's just kind of like, I feel like they had a lot more stock for these this time around, but I could be wrong as well, because I don't really know the stock counts of anything, so it's just more of like an educated guess. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just kind of something I wanted to talk about. I found it really, really interesting that it went really well this time around. Not for everybody, obviously, and I'm sorry to those who weren't able to get anything, but for the most part, I feel like a majority got what they wanted. And obviously nothing's ever going to be perfect, but with time, I'm sure Funko can perfect their website, because there's many other websites that work like just phenomenally through a bunch of stress like this as well. So props to you, Funko. I appreciate you. I appreciate you basically working on the site, because it's showing. Obviously not for everybody. Some people are still upset, but I promise you guys, you just keep trying. You're gonna get something you want eventually. As far as like reseller prices and things like that, if you just wait it out until everybody starts getting in their pops, everybody's gonna start undercutting each other. So you're essentially going to be able to get it for a cheaper price, and probably maybe even double what the Funko shop was. So everything was $15 a piece, except for Zero obviously being $25. But once everybody starts undercutting each other, you're going to be able to get most of these for like 40 bucks. So just hold off on paying $60 to $70 for these, maybe even 40. It might even go beneath 40, because people might be just quick to sell and want their money back. So just hold out. I promise you, hold out. You will be fine, okay? Hold out. But if you don't mind paying reseller prices, kudos to you. That's you. But for the most part, I think Bone Jangles is the one that's going crazy in price right now. Like I said before, he's going, I think I saw a listing just for the two for like $250 sold. That was nuts. That was like, whoa. So I don't know if he's going to stay above that. Depending on how many chases go out, we will see. But anyways, guys, let me know down below, what was your experience with this little mini like test release? That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a mini test release because it was completely random, to me at least. Like, it was kind of out of nowhere, and nobody was expecting Funkoween in August. So it was very interesting, and I think it went really smoothly, but of course my opinion is going to be different than everybody else's, so I'd love to know what happened with your order. Were you able to get anything? Were you not able to get anything? Were you almost able to get anything? Let me know down below. But anyways, I want to say a huge shout out to my Patreon subscribers. I appreciate the support so much. You guys are absolutely legendary with the support, and I appreciate it. It helps me do all kinds of cool videos between mystery boxes, unboxings, reviews, just all kinds of cool things. So I appreciate the support. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, you always can. The link is always down below to help support the channel. You guys can also join the channel for live streams or get a little Skittlerampage member badge next to your name, so I can recognize you faster in the comments when I'm replying to comments. I try to reply to as many as possible. But anyways, make sure to join my Facebook group and Discord. Really great communities over there. They are buy, sell, and trade, so you guys can buy, sell, and trade, make a bunch of friends. There's tons of cool people in there. I talk to you guys all the time. And we also have, sometimes we have giveaways going on, and sometimes we just have cool little events going on and things like that. So make sure to join those and get in with the community. It's a really great community over there. Just don't buy, sell, or trade your blenders or vacuum cleaners. We don't want those. Make sure to follow my social medias, Instagram and Twitter. That's where I post the most. That's where I post cool pop photography and post when my videos go live. You can also subscribe and click the notification bell, of course, if you want to stick around. I would love for that because, obviously, I want more subscribers. I'm kidding. But I would love for you guys to stick around. Anybody new here, comment down below. Say you just subscribed or things like that. But anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Bye.